Leon here with the Songwriter's Mentor, and I hope you're all doing well this week. It should be no secret to any of you that a lot has changed over the last several months, and I imagine that not too many people are going to look back on this period of time, early 2020, or actually we're about halfway through the year now. They're not going to look back on it with any large degree of affection. And boy, I wish we could go back to that time. A lot has changed, and there's a lot of things that I personally miss, and perhaps you do as well. I know one of the things that I miss, and we were missing this before, even before the coronavirus thing came along. We used to attend a monthly event in Cocoa Beach, Florida called the Songwriters Night. It was held at Nolan's Irish Pub, put on by our friend Sam Tritico, who's the owner of Island Music in Merritt Island. If you happen to be in Central Florida, I'll leave a link to Sam's store in the description. And you would do well to pay him a visit if you happen to be in the area. So this was an event where songwriters from all over the Central Florida area, and even many from out of state and further away in Florida, would come to share their original songs. And we'd have songwriters who were just getting started and sharing some of their first creations. And then we had some songwriters who were very experienced, some of them from Nashville, who had had country artists recording some of their songs. And it was a really great time of camaraderie and just getting to know the songwriters in the area. And we really miss that. And we're hoping that when things kind of return to some semblance of normality here in Asheville, Florida, we can find some similar types of get-togethers for local songwriters. Another thing that we miss are the NSAI meetings that we used to attend, the Nashville Songwriters Association International. And there are other songwriting groups that are meeting as well, but they're having to meet now via Zoom, which is a great bit of technology and has enabled these groups to keep going when they're not able to meet in person. But while that's good, it's always, I think, a little bit better to actually be in the same room and once again have that camaraderie with your fellow songwriters. And we would get together in these meetings. They happen once a month. And we'd talk about songwriting. We'd have a songwriting lesson from one of the group members or one of our, what they used to call the NSAI pros, that the pro sponsor or something like that. I can't remember the exact term, but these were pro songwriters that they would adopt a group, adopt a shop as it were, and then they would share with us some lessons that they've learned about songwriting. These were once again great times to get together with our fellow songwriters and talk about songwriting and critique one another's music, and we miss that. Another thing that I miss is going to live shows. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about going to see a big name artist, although we've seen our share of big name artists, not too many. I'm not a big fan of going to huge concerts in arenas, although we've been to a few. We went to see Sting and Paul Simon when they were touring together. We also saw Sting and Annie Lennox when they were touring together. We've also seen Fleetwood Mac a couple of times. We saw Elton John and Billy Joel. These were all great events, and we hope that they can return in some form in the near future. But what I'm talking about is going to see local artists, people that we know, people that have recorded in my studio and are putting on a show. We really enjoyed going to see friends, members of our musical family, as it were, putting on a show in a local bar, restaurant, listening room, or whatever. And we'd go hear them and be able to support them, buy their CDs, come up to them after the show, which is something you can't do with somebody, some famous artist. You can't necessarily walk right up to them after the show and shake their hand and say, boy, we really enjoyed that. But if it's somebody local, even if you don't know them, you can walk right up to them after the show and say, boy, we're really glad we came. We really enjoyed your music, and we hope to come to another one of your shows somewhere down the road. We're really looking forward to the day when those type of events can become commonplace again. And we look forward to getting to know some of the local artists here in Asheville and the surrounding area. Another thing that I miss is actually having people here in my studio. When we first moved to Asheville, I thought, man, this is great. This is a beautiful place. We're living up here on a mountain in Asheville. We're actually in the Pisgah National Forest. It's beautiful. So our goal was to have this place here in Asheville where we could house and feed and record people, as well as running the Songwriter's Mentor. Now, of course, the people I work with in the Songwriter's Mentor, you don't actually have to come to Asheville. But if you decided you wanted to do some actual recording with me here in the studio, this is the place to come. It's beautiful here. And I really I've had artists come here in the past. A few have come here to record albums and singles, and we've had a great time having them stay with us here. It's kind of like having a bed and breakfast with a studio on the bottom floor. I miss that, and I hope that we can do that again. We had some artists that were preparing to come up here to work with me, and they had to postpone because of everything that's going on. So we had to put those plans on hold, but we hope that they can come back at some point in the future and continue to work on those particular projects. But anyway, I don't want this to be a downer. I miss those things. I miss going to see live shows. I miss having people in my studio. I miss being able to sit around and talk about songwriting with other songwriters. But I believe those things are going to eventually come back. And the reason I believe that is because we as human beings are built for social connection, not social distancing. I understand the necessity of doing the social distancing thing. I'm not one that believes this whole thing is a hoax and that we shouldn't take it seriously. Yes, we should. But I also believe that it is eventually going to pass. Maybe not completely. Maybe life will never go back to exactly the way it was before. But I think many of the things that we enjoyed will come back in one form or another, and I'm looking forward to those days, and I hope you are too. But I want to encourage you, keep writing songs, keep honing your craft, and that's what the Songwriter's Mentor is for. I'm here to help you do that. So I encourage you to visit the site. I'll leave the link in the comments section, not the comments section, I'll leave the link in the description below. Also invite you to like, subscribe, and comment on this particular video. Let me know what you miss during this particular time when there's more isolation and more restrictions, and what you're looking forward to have it come back in whatever form it comes back. And let me know about that in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.